Bloons Card Storm has just released to some rather mixed reviews on Steam, with only around 53% of players giving it a positive review. Additionally, if you check out the website Steam charts, you can see less players are logging on each day already, and it's only been like 3 days. I've seen several comments on my own videos from people who are saying they plan to skip over this game entirely, so here's what I think Ninja Kiwi could do to improve the player experience as someone who's been playing a good amount myself. The first thing that needs to be said is that you basically have to spend real money to actually have a decent chance of winning right now, at least when this video is being recorded. I actually purchased the Founders Pack to get the 30,000 crafted tokens it came with, because before that I kept losing over and over again, and I didn't have any resources to craft decent cards. Immediately after buying that pack, I won 7 games in a row. Now, I'm pretty certain this game has a hidden system that matches you against players with a similar amount of skill as yourself, because after that win streak, it has balanced out a lot more, but now I'm consistently winning over 50% of games while also getting matched against better players, whereas before I couldn't win a single game while going on a long losing streak. So I really think the way to fix this is to simply make the progression system faster. It takes so long to get any tokens in this game that even after winning 50 games myself, basically all of the crafting tokens I've ever had came from that $8 Founders Pack purchase. And now that I've spent my resources building a deck that's focused completely on rushing cheaper cards, I can't really experiment with anything else either, unless I want to spend more money, which I'm certainly not doing. I'd like to build an effective defensive deck, but at the current rate of progression, it's going to take me so long to unlock all the cards required that by then, my interest is probably going to dry up in the game. I don't think some of the bigger YouTubers have noticed this as much, because Ninja Kiwi has given them these cards for free, at least that's my understanding. If you had access to the game in beta form, you automatically got all of the cards immediately. But for the rest of us, it's going to be pretty frustrating, especially if you aren't going to buy the Founders Pack like I did, because then you're really in a bad situation right now. Another issue is that the game currently has certain cards that are pretty overpowered right now. I know a lot of people have complained about Jungle's Bounty Druid, and it deploys a Druid Monkey which seems pretty weak in terms of the damage it deals per turn because it costs 5 gold, but it also gives your hero 10 health times the number of gold coins you have in your income slot. So if you're going to earn 8 gold at the start of your next turn, you'll also earn 80 health per druid you have deployed, so yes, these can be stacked as well. Now, as someone who has a rushing deck built myself, I've definitely found that card really hard to counter, because if I can't defeat my opponent basically immediately, they're just going to end up keep on healing over and over, and draining all of my good rushing cards until their defense is completely insurmountable, and I can't do anything at all. Now, I'm not complaining about that card countering my deck, but I'm just adding my own experience into the conversation, which generally all seems to be in favor of this card being overpowered in general. There are also a few other cards that can create pretty annoying win conditions, like as much as I love the pink balloon because I get a lot of benefit from it, the fact that it immediately adds 100 extra damage to your turn is pretty insane. Even if 100 damage for the price of 4 gold isn't very good, that's still a super lucky card to get when you have your opponent at, let's say, 240 health with 150 damage already queued up. If you get a pink balloon on your turn there, they just lose immediately unless they have a tower that's capable of defending between rounds like Attack Shooter. I don't think this is such a big deal though, because the game literally did just come out and balance changes are sure to come soon, but with the first issue being mentioned of pay to win, you have another problem, which is people like myself who are willing to buy the Founders Pack being able to then get all of the overpowered cards immediately and make everyone else's experience worse. I mean, I wouldn't blame someone for being annoyed when they face me, and I get super lucky with all my 0 gold cards early on, being able to deploy sometimes over 300 damage on my first turn if I get the map High Finance. That's absolutely insane. Now, of course, Gwendolyn can counter this with the Firestorm card, but getting that immediately is also luck-based, and not everyone plays Gwen either. Of course, on the flip side, I can get forced to start with all expensive cards on a different map and never get any of my 0 gold cards, which kind of takes away the one primary function that my deck has, which is cheap rushing early on, and then I'm forced to kind of play a different game and my chances are going to be greatly diminished. So I guess you could say that the luck does balance out long term, but you have a problem when players aren't even staying long enough to have that long term experience. And I do believe this game is meant to be a lot more casual than something like BTD Battles, with the 90-second timer for each turn, and the element of lucky and unlucky cards being able to swing the momentum of a game so much. But then again, if the game is meant to be casual, refer back to point number 1. The progression system needs to be faster. But those are just my thoughts, and I'd love to hear your own in the comments. I actually started uploading BCS gameplay footage on my second channel, so if you want to check that out, the link will be in the description and in the pinned comment as well. But I really think this game does have a ton of potential, and Ninja Kiwi just has to listen to the negative feedback as much as or even more than the positive right now, even if it sucks to hear, so they can work out the issues people have with the game and bring it to that full potential it has.